Shalom to all of you and welcome. It's Monday night and we need to continue with our Revelation Marathon. It's the beginning of a new week and it's going to be a rough week for all of us.
Abba Yahuwah, we glorify you, we praise you, we honor you. For you, Yahuwah, you are high above all the earth. You are exalted far above all gods. Yahuwah is our rock and our fortress and our deliverer and our Elohim, our strength in whom we trust. Great and marvelous are your works. Yahuwah Elohim Tsevaot, just and true are your ways, O sovereign of the set-apart ones. Who shall not fear you, O Yahuwah, and glorify your name? For you only are holy. For all nations shall come and worship before you, for your judgments are made manifest. Rejoice in Yahuwah, you righteous ones, and give thanks at the remembrance of his holy name, in Yeshua's name, Imunah.
Emunah. And that was all word. You prayed word and that is so powerful. His
Yes,
judgment will be made manifest.
Me? Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Guys, before we start, I just want to tell you this is our auction week. And I'm going to ask you if it's possible for us to take a break the rest of this week. We just got home a little bit before I had to join online with you guys. So I know the rest of the week is going to be even worse. We normally leave at 7 in the morning and we get back at 7 o'clock at night. It's really a rough time for us. So the auction is going to be on Wednesday, but we are already extremely busy. So tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, I will not be available. Sabbath morning, I am going to be available, although we have people here and we're going on that horse riding adventure into the mountains. So if any of you are going to come visit me ever, we can take you into the mountains with horses as well. But I'll see you after tonight. I'll see you only again on Saturday on Sabbath morning. Is that all right with everyone?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
wonderful.
it's fine.
Yes, thank you, Mother.
Yes.
Gives you guys a bit of
Right.
pressure as well, so that you guys can catch up on anything else you need to do, and maybe go back and make sure that you've got all the notes and that you're keeping abreast. All right, let's continue. The Whore of Babylon 2D. We ended last time with part 7. And we said, all the lovers, all Jerusalem's lovers, all those that Jehudah, the whore, has fornicated with, making the holy city Jerusalem a viper's nest, bringing the seed of Babylon and Egypt and all the Kabbalah gods of ancient mythology right into Yahuwah's temple, taking the rulership and the riches her husband gave her, and she offered it to all her lovers, thinking she's a queen who will never be thrown down, and she's ruling the entire world. Remember, she sits on this beast, and this beast is the end day new world order. That's not so new. It's the ancient world order revived. And I just want to remind you something else. These things on the side of your head is called your temples. And as we know, the Bible, everything is physical and spiritual. So that Kabbalah gods and the seed of Babylon and Egypt that we saw in Ezekiel, what was it, Ezekiel 8 and 7, that's brought into Yahuwah's temple. It's not only going to be in the physical temple at the end of days, but it is in between your two temples here in your head, where you think, where you understand, where you believe. And that is what needs to be guarded on a physical and a spiritual level. Jerusalem is physical and spiritual. This whole Kabbalah, ancient Babylon system is a physical empire, and yet it is a highly spiritual hierarchy. And we've gone through all those very important aspects. She's sitting on this beast. And I want to show you tonight a little bit more info on this whore who's also the wife, or the whore that's mixed with a wife, or the wife that's mixed with a whore. And she's ruling the world out of the name of being a Jew. All right. Now, when I'm going to show you about BlackRock and all these Jewish companies, it's not about this one company, BlackRock or Blackstone. There are many companies like this that are, the shareholding is majority of people who has got Jewish bloodlines, or they claim that they are Jews. It's about who is behind these companies. The Jews from the synagogue of Satan, riding the worldly empires, the governments, the economy, the education, pharmacia, media, technology, and religion. You saw this when we looked at the 7 mountains, remember? So Blackstone is the world's largest alternative asset manager. Do you understand what that means? The world's largest asset manager. That means Blackstone is at the top of the pyramid in terms of economy. And if you remember all these previous things we looked at, remember how this whore, she is in charge of economy. Money makes the world go round, although we live on a flat earth. And this is why you guys need to understand the corporation, the corporate financial system of the world. Because although the Bible was written and Revelation was written 2,000 years ago, and I'm sure John could not comprehend what it is that we are facing today, Yahuwah gave him more than enough information. Comparing to the prophets, where the prophets are expanding on everything that John is seeing, so that those who's got eyes to see, remember Revelation 1 verse 3, blessed are those who reads and understands and takes to heart everything that's written in this book. So that us who are reading to understand, to take to heart, so that we in this modern times where we live, can look at those prophecies from the TNT compared to Revelation, and we can see, oh my gosh, it is corporations, it is money, it is economy, and it is amazing how these corporations fit exactly the profile that Ezekiel and Zechariah and Jeremiah and Joshua and John has been trying to show us. So I have a video to show you. Again, it took me about 2 weeks of research, and it took me over 24 hours just to compile this video. The video is about 25 minutes long. I'm going to show you the video. You need to watch it carefully. That's why I said watch on your laptops tonight. It is, again, a truckload full of information. So it will be worth your while after I've placed this video on YouTube to watch it again. And as you go through all the prophecies and you open your Bible and you read about the end days, then you can see how all these pieces are fitting together. At the end of the video, David Icke does say, I give a shit. I didn't take it out because I think it's very relevant. We should give a sheep dip about this woman. We have to know who she is. We have to understand how the house of Judah is hijacked by the whore of Babylon. And we have to not be fazed by this woman, because there is 2 women in the book of Revelation. There's the whore, and there is the woman who is clothed in the sun. And then there's the remnant of the seed. And we know these things. So although David Icke is not a believer, and I'm so glad Magda showed us, she's got that very thick book. I borrowed her 5 years ago. I'm so glad I found it. His research is excellent. But it's not only him. I tried to get you information from so many different places. And I promise you, this video could be 20 hours long, and I would still not be able to show you everything that there is to show you. So guys, if you're ready, then I can quickly share this video with you.
There isn't a tyrant alive or dead who has any love or respect for individual rights. They are the bane of the globalist tyrants who seek to control all of humanity. We could trace this conspiracy of tyrants all the way back to the 18th century. In 1910, the Carnegie Foundation published the Flexner Report, which directly led to the shutting down of natural traditional medicine and gave way for the Rockefellers to patent and monopolize the medicine industry. That same year, Rothschild banking dynasty's Paul Warburg, along with high-ranking members of U.S. banking and government, met in secret in 1913 with the Federal Reserve banking system. Fractional reserve banking became the norm, regulated by the Fed.
Money is power. Money is the only weapon that the Jew has to defend himself with.
Meyer Amschel Bauer, born in Frankfurt, Germany in 1744, was a moneylender and a goldsmith on Jew Street, whose shop had a sign out front with a red hexagram on it. Eventually, he would change his name to Rothschild, which is German for red sign. Meyer Rothschild had 5 sons whom he trained in the skills of money creation and sent out to the major capitals of Europe to open branches of the family banking business.
You are 5 brothers. I want you each to start a banking business in a different country. One to go and open a house in Paris, one in Vienna, one in London. Choose the most important centers, so that when money is to be sent from here to London, let us say, you won't have to risk life and gold. Amschel, here in Frankfurt, will just send a letter to Nathan in London saying, pay so-and-so. And that will be offset by loans from London to Frankfurt. Understand?
The big military contractors want to add new countries to NATO all the time. Why? Because then that country has to conform its military purchases to NATO weapon specifications, which means certain companies, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, General Dynamics, Boeing, and Lockheed, get a trapped market. In March of 2022, we committed $113 billion. We then committed another $24 billion since that 2 months ago, and now President Biden's asking for another $60 billion. But the big expenses are going to come after the war, when we have to rebuild all the things that we destroyed. Mitch McConnell was asked, can we really afford to spend $113 billion to Ukraine? He said, don't worry, it's not really going to Ukraine.
It's going to American defense manufacturers.
So he just admitted it's a money laundering scheme. And who do you think owns every one of those companies? BlackRock. So Tim Scott, during the Republican debate, said, don't worry, it's not a gift to Ukraine, it's a loan. So raise your hand if you think that loan's ever getting paid back. Yeah, of course it's not. So why do they call it a loan? Because if they call it a loan, they can impose loan conditions. Ukraine has to put all of its government-owned assets up for sale to multinational corporations, including all of its agricultural land, the biggest single asset in Europe. In Ukraine, there's been 1,000 years of war fought over that land. It's the richest farmland in the world. It's the breadbasket of Europe. 500,000 kids almost, Ukrainian kids, have died to keep that land as part of Ukraine. They almost certainly didn't know about this loan condition. They've already sold 30% of it. The buyers were DuPont, Cargill, and Monsanto. Who do you think owns all of those companies? Yeah, BlackRock. And then in December, President Biden gave out the contract to rebuild Ukraine. And who do you think got that contract? BlackRock. So they're doing this right in front of us. They don't even care that we know anymore, because they know that they can get away with it. And how do they know that? Because they have a strategy. And that strategy is an old strategy, which is they keep us at war with each other. They keep us hating on each other. They keep the Republicans and Democrats fighting each other, and black against white, and all these divisions that they sow.
The New World Order really consists of 3 aspects. There is a New World political system that everyone today is calling the New World Order. As well as that, there is an economic plan for the New World Order, and that is called the New World Economic Order. In addition to those 2 items, there's a third plan for religion. You see, the planners of the world know that men need a religion of some kind, even if it's a false one. So they have a plan to give us a new age world global occultic religion. So really there's 3 aspects to this New World Order. A New World Economic Order, in which a computer chip will be injected into our hands or foreheads as a means to track, control, and identify us and will also be used to make our purchases and scan and
Well, they've already Council on Foreign
Right.
Relations, through the Trilateral
Right.
Commission, through the Club of Rome.
This Illuminati is the group of men who control not only all the money on the planet through all the world banks and the Federal Reserve and so on, but they control essentially all the governments. And so these men are planning to bring about a global form of government that's unique in all history. It's a total enslaving system of world communism and fascism, controlled by a hierarchy in Europe that Anthony calls what? The oligarchy.
Well, no, I call it the evilarchy.
The evilarchy.
The oligarchy of evil.
So these men are satanically inspired, and of course we get that term from the Bible, which means the devil. They're satanically inspired to bring about a global form of government to every nation on earth.
Meanwhile, their families created their own interest-free banks and family trusts, keeping their own wealth safely out of the Federal Reserve System. A banking system that gave this cabal unlimited funds to wage war against all of humanity. In 1921, after years of meeting in secret, the Round Table Movement, a group that sought to reunify America with the Crown, and the Harvard Business School, merged factions to become the Council on Foreign Relations, a think tank allowing bankers and industrialists the opportunity to engineer government policy. OSS member Alan Dulles went on to help create the CIA in 1947.
Television brings us the news of the world through two central news agencies called Reuters and the Associated Press. The Rothschilds bought Reuters in the 1800s, which later bought the Associated Press and made the Rothschild family owners of the world's largest central news services. To the present day, the world depends on these Rothschild-owned central news services as their main source of news and information. That the major TV networks, radio stations, newspapers, and publishing empires are controlled by the Rothschild, Rockefeller, and J.P. Morgan money cartels through their corporate conglomerates. These media monopolies are owned directly or indirectly by the Rothschild, J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, and Oppenheimer Brotherhood, and journalists who support the agenda of the Big Five media owners. While two-thirds of the world goes hungry, these banksters offer gazillion-dollar sponsorships to sports athletes to play with their balls. Why? Because they keep the masses distracted from the important issues.
And welcome back to the show. I scream, you scream. You know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest. I scream, you scream, you know the rest. I scream, you scream, you know the rest. I scream, you scream, well, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, well, you know the rest. I scream, you scream, well, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest. I scream, you scream, we all know the rest. I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, well, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby. Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby. Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby. Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby. Mike Myers says, yeah, baby. Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Myers.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
In the first couple layers, the really eager, hard-working young journalists are out there trying to get the stories, trying to make a name so they can move up that pyramid. Well, the further they move up the pyramid, the more they realize that, the outlets really aren't interested in major news that rocks the boat.
The boat Charles refers to belongs to those at the top of the pyramid, where the interests of the media outlets are quietly defined. The year is 1917, and Representative Oscar Callaway enters a disturbing statement into the U.S. Congressional Record. The statement reveals why J.P. Morgan interests hired 12 high-ranking news managers. The 12 were asked to determine the most influential newspapers in America, to control generally the policy of the daily press of the United States. An agreement was reached. The policy of the papers was bought, and an editor was placed at each paper to ensure that all published information was in keeping with the new policy. Soon, that policy would be defined by a front group formed by J.P. Morgan and his colleagues. Quigley reveals that these men aim to create a world system of financial control in private hands, able to dominate the political system of each country and the economy of the world as a whole. In short, they seek total and quiet control of the entire world. And the CFR is their most visible conduit for carrying out that agenda. These media heavyweights, and many others like them, are members of the CFR. CFR members Michael Eisner of Disney and ABC's Thomas Murphy merged their media empires. Soon after the merger, the Disney-ABC empire becomes a CFR corporate member.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal?
We do have people who submit pieces to two American journals.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
Have you ever wondered why movies, TV shows, and cartoons seem to predict real-world events? People in power, governments, corporations, secret groups, reveal their plans ahead of time, usually through entertainment, symbolism, or satire. By revealing the truth, even symbolically, they believe they've obtained your consent, because on a karmic or energetic level, they're no longer responsible because you didn't say no. Once you see it, you stop being the audience and you start being the signal.
The Illuminati run the world.
I don't think they're the top, but they're there, yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Listen to the elites tell us how the future is going to be with their Agenda 2030.
In the developed countries, the big winners are countries that have shrinking populations.
You do not even have to have elections anymore because you can already predict, and afterwards you can say, why do we need elections? Because we know what the result will be.
Our primary mission is, in fact, to set a global standard for the world for behavior.
What we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets.
You want the function, you want the service, right? Why do you want to own a cell phone if you can just lease it? And if you lease, why shouldn't you lease your refrigerator or your washing machine or your dishwasher, or why do you want to own it?
I propose putting an end to anonymity on social media.
If 1 billion people stop eating meat, I tell you it has a big impact.
Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains? and we measure your brain waves.
There's some really interesting research that we can plant false memories in the brain.
Substituting humans for machines is going to be far easier in those countries that have declining populations.
Who's in charge of the CDC that was controlling and telling our government to shut down small businesses and what they recommend for the mandates of the vaccines and Pfizer and all this? The director of the CDC was Rochelle Walensky, dual citizenship with Israel. She's a Jew. Deputy director of the CDC, Ann Shawalchik, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC chief of staff, Sherry Berger, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC chief medical officer, Mitchell Wolf, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. CDC director of the Washington office. This is pertinent to the topic. Yeah, this is pertinent to COVID. So director of the CDC of the Washington office, Jeff Resnick, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. COVID SAR, Jeff Zaints, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. COVID senior advisor, Andy Slavitt, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Assistant of Health Secretary for Human Services for our country, the Assistant of Health Secretary, Rachel Levine, transgender, dual citizenship with Israel.
Yes. I'm going to ask that you hold off, Christopher.
The chair has ruled that your comments are out of order. She's asked you to stop.
How is it out of order?
The chair has...
He said Jew. There's nothing wrong with Jew. It's not derogatory.
Head of Pfizer vaccines,
Again,
Albert
Chair
Bourla, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Pfizer chief scientist, Michael Dostin, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Moderna chief scientist, Tal Zaks, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. BlackRock, everyone know BlackRock? BlackRock CEO, Larry Fink, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. I said we're willing to sacrifice our ego, our reputation,
You have 19
and our lives.
seconds.
Yes, ma'am, and I love you, and I appreciate your patience. BlackRock president, Rob Capital, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. The CDC chief medical officer of Johnson & Johnson, Joanne Waldstreicher, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Chief medical officer of Merck, Michael Rosenwald, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Head advisor of the World Economic Forum, Yuval Harari, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. And that's only talking about COVID. That's not talking about who's in charge of
Christopher, you need to stop.
about who's in control of the media or the banks. I can go on.
Sigmund Freud was a Satanist, full stop. He was into Jewish mysticism, the occult. He began gaslighting kids. That is the true story of Sigmund Freud. There's a book on it by the man who controlled his archives called The Assault on Truth. This is a book written by a Jewish man, so there's no anti-Semitism. And he lied because he was protecting his friends. Sigmund Freud's contribution to society, he created gaslighting. So you can draw a direct line from Sigmund Freud to Hollywood, to modern propaganda, to PR that we have today.
What they're finding in people are not blood clots. It is self-assembling, self-replicating nanotechnology.
And a one-world government. Among other items under discussion was a global currency, a central bank, the end of national sovereignty, mandatory vaccines, universal basic income, microchipping of citizens, and the end of fossil fuels.
Line in the movie when they say, Truman, everybody would have to be in on it, is the most lethal sentence in the entire movie when the best friend says it. And it doesn't beat Truman's evidence. Truman has a ton of evidence. But what it does psychologically, it makes the evidence cost too much to pick up and re-examine. To trust his own eyes, he has to accept the wife, the friend, the mother, the man with the dog, the neighbors, the businesses, everything. All of it was staged. And that's too much betrayal for one brain. So Marlon hands him this smaller, kinder story. You're tired. You're stressed out, man. Come back to the version that we can both survive.
Rothschild Zionism. Anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism, not that anti-Semitism means what we think it does. Zionism is not about Jewish people. It is a political system, a political philosophy. At its core, it is a secret society putting its agents in places of power. How many people know this? How many Jewish people around the world are protesting, have organizations created to protest against Zionism? Zionism and Judaism are diametrically opposed. Zionism is state-organized terror. How many times do we see this in the newspapers? Never. End of Zionism equals peace. Israel, stop killing Palestinians. I am Jewish and I want that. We condemn any Zionist aggression against Iran. I thought every Jewish person in the world wanted to bomb Iran. That's what the media seem to give us an indication about. Demonization comes from Rothschild Zionism. Rothschild dynasty created Israel. It paid for the first people out of Europe to go and people Israel after the war. It paid for the building of the Knesset. It paid for the building of the Supreme Court building with all its Illuminati symbols all over it. And some of the people who've broken out of the family, I quote one of them in my book, have actually said, Israel is not the homeland of Jewish people, it is the fiefdom of the Rothschild dynasty. And Rothschild Zionism has been used via Israel to devastate, slaughter, torture an entire nation of human beings while claiming to be against terrorism. This is the dictionary definition of genocide: the systematic and widespread extermination or attempted extermination of an entire national, racial, religious or ethnic group. Never can what is happening in Palestine and Gaza have been described so accurately. More and more people killed through war, killed through bombing attacks, killed through shootings, killed through lack of food and adequate medical care. Gaza, the most crowded piece of land on earth, is little more, ironically, than a concentration camp. And the world looks on. This is 2000. We're in 2010 now. It's much smaller than that. What was I saying? The systematic and widespread extermination or attempted extermination of an entire national, racial, religious or ethnic group. And I say to these Rothschild Zionists, don't you bloody dare talk about racism of others when you are behind this. It's an elephant in the bloody living room, and people are terrified of going there because they're terrified of being called racist and anti-Semitic and all that. They'll call you anti-Semitic. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
Hey, so there's a lot of information there, and this I gave you evidence from various groups of people over the last 60 years. Some of those videos are very, very old, right? Some of those videos were made in the 1960s, and it's got the same consistent research theme that what the Bible calls the Jews from a synagogue of Satan, slowly but surely maneuvering all the pieces on the chessboard to get to the point where Revelation says the woman is in full charge, riding the entire beast with all 7 heads and all 10 horns. Right, guys? Any feedback from your side? Anything that you can add? Maybe something you learned over the last couple of months since we've been busy?
The thing that's jumped in my face there was about the lack of action that we take against people, against these things. When it said that when we accept the movies and we watch the movies, it's taken as acceptance because we don't stand up and say no. Yeah. And that's the same as where Jesus was, well, where Yeshua was saying, if they're not against us, then they're for us. When those guys were preaching in his name and healing and stuff, and his disciples were upset. That just, well, I sit, because I'm alone here where I am, I sit quiet instead of actually standing up. So, yeah.
There's not a hell of a lot we can do. There's not much we can do. The only power we really have is to go onto social media, spread the truth, spread the information, and say on social media that you don't agree with this. And here's your Bible verses that proves this is actually a cabal, a secret organization that is maneuvering this country against that country. So whatever the situation is, like with digital IDs now, when the vaccines were enforced in 2020, we actually did stand up. We got in our cars, we subscribed to these groups of people that went marching in Johannesburg streets. We went on rallies all throughout Pretoria and Johannesburg, giving out pamphlets wherever we can. It is extremely stressful and dangerous. At one stage, while I was giving out pamphlets in front of a clinic where there was rows and rows of people going for the vaccine, I was almost arrested. So it's not very, you have to know when, where, how, and with who, what you can do, what your rights are. If you don't know the law very well, you can make so much trouble for yourself. While we can still work a little bit on social media to bring the truth out, you are indeed doing your share. Because wherever you are, there's not going to be thousands of people like when I was in the city, where you can join lots of other people and go marching in the streets, where you physically do something. In your smaller towns, you do not have that. So my best advice is I always make pamphlets of all these things. I had a whole COVID pamphlet. I've got a whole New World Order pamphlet. Get these pamphlets from me, print them out, and just hand them out wherever you move around. Hand them to people on the street. If you can make 100 people aware of this, at least you are doing something. So don't feel alone. There's a lot of people that feel like you do. And in the Kabbalah, they believe in karma. You know what karma is? You know, whatever you do comes back to you. Just like the Bible says, you throw your bread upon the water and it will come back to you. So karma is basically based on the same principle as where Yahuwah also says, Yahuwah does nothing without revealing it to his prophets first. And then Yeshua says, you make so many mistakes because you do not know the power of God, because you don't know Moses and the prophets. So Yahuwah has given us the information. He's given the entire world the information. He's revealed it through his prophets. The enemy does the same. They are under that karmic judgment. If they don't warn you what they are busy with, then at the end of the day, the karma will be negative and bad and come back to them, and they can stand under judgment. But as long as they reveal to you exactly what they're doing, and you do nothing about it, then the judgment is on you and not on them. So for them, it's also a matter of fulfilling the same kind of jurisdiction that Yahuwah has placed upon what the spirit world must do before it manifests in the flesh. So you're 100% correct, Lisa. That is something that kind of hits you in the face if you don't understand why they would do that. And that clip that Lynette gave me of the Truman Show, where the friend says, Truman, maybe you're just tired, because if what you say is the truth, then it means that everyone must be in on it. And when you speak to people about the pandemic and the scams and the New World Order and the whole takeover of the enemies of God, and just think about, COVID and the religious deception, then people will say, well, in that case, it's impossible because then everyone must be in on it. Well, that's what the Truman Show actually came to show us. In Truman's case, everyone was in on it. And he couldn't really talk to anyone because everyone was in on it. And the people that are not physically in on it themselves, they are so indoctrinated, they cannot handle the truth. You remember the story I told you about Truth and Lie went to take a swim on a very hot day, and then the Lie stole the white garments of Truth, and he ran into town and he pretended to be Truth. And later on, Truth came into town, but of course he didn't want to put on the Lie's clothes, so he went into town naked. And the people stoned him to death because they cannot handle the naked truth. That is the problem. So it's like with when you do sales. We always learned you have to make 10 phone calls in order to get one customer. So there's going to be 9 misses, but 1 hit. So remember that ratio and give out 10 pamphlets. 9, the people will laugh at you. It's too big a conspiracy. But that one person, that story of the little girl on the beach with all the starfish that was washing out, and she threw them back into the ocean, and her brother said, what are you doing? You can never save them all. It's not going to make a difference. And then she said, yeah, but for that one starfish, it made a difference. So Lisa, don't be despondent. There is a lot that you can do in your limited area. Anyone else? Magda?
That clip that she sent you, I actually watched a video on YouTube, and I didn't realize it, but the speaker actually mentioned it, and he says, the Truman Show was before there was internet, before there was Facebook, before there was reality shows, and I never really realized that. It's crazy how prophetic that movie actually was. And what I've also learned this week was about the Nutera Carta. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but that is that specific group of Jews that are, basically always protesting to try to make people understand that Judaism is not Zionism. So that's quite interesting. This group of people that's, still following Torah and still trying to reach people to say.
The last couple of weeks, it's difficult to try and show how that the Kabbalah is at the same time whore and wife. And I said to you guys, you must just be patient as we go through the world and all the evidence and proof from the world side. And we compare it to Yahuwah's scriptures, where he talks about his wife that she is the whore. But out of the whore, the wife must still come back. They are so mixed. That's why she's called the whore of Babylon. Babylon means mixing, confusion. So inside Judaism, there's so much confusion. The people inside of them, inside of that group, they don't even know where are they on the Babylon side? Are they on the true Jew side? All of them think they are true Jews, but they don't realize that deception. And if we meet again on Shabbat, I'm going to show you a lot more Bible verses that is prophetic about the true woman. Remember the Revelation 12 woman. She's going to come out of the whore of Babylon. And we have to have that kind of patience with the Jews as well. Yes, they are Khazarians and Herodians and synagogue of Satan, but interdispersed is the Revelation 12 woman at the same time, from the same note. Remember the music of the spheres? One note, yet two aspects of that same sound. So Magda, 100% correct. I just have these two little pictures here. It's difficult when you go into Google and you try to find out how, what I'm saying, is it true or not? Does BlackRock own all the major corporations, all the companies that's got to do with military, weapons, education, manufacturing, media? You're not going to find it that way. The only way that you can do this kind of research is to look at the companies where BlackRock, Vanguard, and Blackstone are the majority shareholders. Do you understand that? You're not going to find it on Google, where Google is just going to give you a list of 10,000 corporations that is owned by BlackRock. Because they're more clever than that. They've got shares in subsidiary companies, and then those companies has got shares in other companies. But if I have a company and there is 100 shares, and you've got, let's say, 25 shares, and then the other 75 shares are owned by 75 people, that means 75 people each has one share. But you've got 25 shares. So who is the majority shareholder? It is you. So who really owns that company? You. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So where BlackRock, Vanguard, and Blackstone are majority shareholders, that's where you find your information and where you can see they are the biggest asset managers in the world. Meaning they manage all these corporations. The corporations are assets and they are managing it. They are at the top of the ladder. They are the pinnacle of the pyramid, and they are owned by Jews. BlackRock itself is the name of the company. When you take the David Star or the Star of Ramphan that I showed you, is as above, so below, the two triangles coming together, né? And you do that whole mathematical, remember the music of the spheres? It's all got to do with symmetry and, what do they call it? Mysterious, wat is het nou weer? Ek gaan nou vir julle sê. You've got mathematics and science, and in maths you've got, now it's out of my head. In science, you've got two aspects of science in school. The one was where you did chemistry, and the other one was?
Physics.
Physics, yeah, it's like physics. So your mystery physics has got to do with all these signs and symbols that, together with numerology and with esoteric equations, actually gives you the secret symbol inside the symbol. So inside your Star of David, you have a black rock. You can see here, and again, you can do your own research. You measure the inside of your Star of David, and you get a cube. And that cube is the black cube, the same black cube that you find where? In the center of Mecca. And millions of Jews not Jews, millions of Muslims are walking around the black cube. The black cube is nothing else than the symbol for Saturn. Who is Saturn? One of the planets here, one of the wandering stars, but ultimately Saturn is the black god with the silver stars, with the golden stars around his head. He's one of the highest occultic, paganistic, mythological gods. And where do you find Saturn? Where's the biggest statue of Saturn in the world? Oh, somebody, come on. I've shown you that picture many, many times. There's a certain part of his body that is almost smooth because people go and then they kiss his little foot.
The Statue of Liberty.
Very good. The Statue of Liberty is Lucifer, but Lucifer and Saturn is the same thing, yeah. Saturn, he sits like this in St. Peter's Cathedral, and people come in their millions, and then they kiss and touch the foot of Peter. Have you guys seen? Have you not seen that in my videos over the years?
Just that hand signal you did made me think of Baphomet.
Well, it is, yeah. Saturn, Lucifer, Baphomet, all the same thing. St. Peter's Cathedral, Statue of Peter. Let me show you. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. Oh, I need to stop sharing now and share my pictures. Sorry. Here we go. This little guy sitting like this on the throne in St. Peter's Cathedral, in St. Peter's Square. His foot there at the bottom. Again, Google, and you'll be amazed that millions and millions of people every single year visit, and they stand in long queues just to get to Peter, because it's Peter, eh? You know, the disciple Peter. No, it's Saturn. Look at his head. Look at the crown upon his head. This statue of Saturn was part of the Roman temple pagan gods. And then when Constantine started the Roman Catholic Church, all they did is they took Saturn's statue, and he's black, look at him, because the black Saturn, the black rock, the black cube, it's all part of this esoteric symbolism. And they put this statue of Saturn into the church, and they said, oh, behold, Peter the disciple. It's not Peter. Peter will never do this. Peter doesn't have a halo of illumination around his head. And Peter will never allow millions of people to come and worship before him. Peter never said, when I die, I'll be like Mary, and I'll be a little advocate between you and God for you. Come and worship me, and then I'll worship God in your place. This is Saturn.
Hi, yes, sorry, I just want to mention, I watched also a few videos this weekend, and the thing that Adam Weishaupt said, the guy that started the Illuminati, is that the great strength of our order lies in its concealment. Let it never appear in its own name, but always covered by another name and another occupation. So that is why you will never find the names, I think, connected to Black Rock, because it will always disappear into something new and else and better and bigger.
Yeah, and that is the strength, that is their success. Because when you read the books of the Freemasonry as well, they'll say that the lower grades will be given what they want them to think the symbols and the handshakes and the pictures and all those things mean. But as you go higher up in Freemasonry, you start realizing, oh, but these symbols are actually not belonging to Christianity or Judaism or to Muslim. But at the top, those symbols are of the pagan pantheon. And above them is Lucifer. So whether the symbol is used in Christianity, Judaism, or in Islam, or in Buddhism, each religious group think this symbol is pertinent to them. And that's what they are told, and that's what the masses, the sheeple, must understand. And only for the initiates, for those who that's illuminated, do they get to know the real secret. Because again, people cannot handle the naked truth. And that's why I love the Bible. Because Yahuwah says, nothing that is concealed will not be revealed in the end by him. Everything that is whispered around dark corners will be announced from the rooftops in the end. And he will open the skirt of the whore, and he will reveal her shame as well. So yes, if you go back, and I think I've got another video that I'm busy with, I can't remember now, about the Jesuits, and no, that video I showed you guys already. From the 1300s, from the very old ages, they've already infiltrated the Sabbatean. I've shown you the video of the Sabbatean Frankists, nee? Guys, the Sabbatean Frankists. Did I show you that video on Shabbat?
Yeah, I think you did.
I did. I'm getting confused what I've shown you and what I didn't. So Sabbatai Zevi and Jacob Frank also said the easiest way to infiltrate all of these positions is to do it in concealment. So even Sabbatai Zevi, he became a Muslim. He converted to Islam, and then he infiltrated the whole Islam system as well. And that's why today the House of Saud, the Saudi Arabia royal bloodline house, is Sabbatean Frankist, because they've already infiltrated that. They sent their Jesuits into the Roman Catholic Church, and from there on it was sent into the Protestant churches. So you find the same symbolism all over, and it points back to, now that we know what it's for, we can see how people are massively deceived. And it's interesting again, the same black cube at the center of the Jewish star, around which billions of Muslims are walking around Mecca. And it's the highlight of their life to go on a pilgrimage. That same black cube is found on the forehead of the Jews in Judaism. The black cube, exactly the same dimensions. So BlackRock is much deeper than just an economic or an investment controlling group in the world. It goes all the way back to mythology, back to Saturn worship, where Jews and Muslims are worshipping this black rock that is eminent in all their symbols and their secret language. And again, they are deceived. The enemy is showing it to them, and yet they are blind for that. Guys, it's exactly 8 o'clock. I think I showed you a lot. We didn't get to scripture, and it's always important to have scripture first. So let me just look for a beautiful verse that we can end with. I know which one I want to end with. Let me find it. Job 19:25. I know that my Redeemer lives, and it's him that will stand at the latter day upon the entire earth. Amen.
Emunah.
Emunah.
Emunah. Thank you, guys. It was a quick run tonight. We did a lot in an hour. Who's going to end with us for us with prayer?
I will end for us in prayer. Oh yeah, well, there are many sins testify against us. Act now for us, for your name's sake, so that the faithless may witness your faithfulness. For our backsliding are countless. We have sinned against you. We know and acknowledge, O Yahuwah, our wickedness and the iniquity of our fathers, for we have sinned against you. Do not treat us with contempt, and do not condemn us for our own name's sake, for your own name's sake. Do not disgrace your glorious throne. Remember with consideration, and do not break your solemn covenant with us. Are many there among the idols of the nations who can send rain, or can the heavens of our own world give showers? Is it not you, O Yahuwah, O Elohim? Therefore we will wait and hope confidently in you, for you are the one who made all these things, the heavens and the rain. Amen.
Amen. Beautiful. What is that? Daniel 9?
Jeremiah 14.
Jeremiah 14. Excellent. Beautiful prayers. The Bible is full of prayers. If you don't know what to pray, do what Elsabe and Simone does. Read the Bible's prayers back to him, because it's so full of exact truth. Sometimes our mouths can't get it out, and then you stand amazed that what you feel inside is written right there for you to just read aloud. Thank you very much, Simone. Thank you, guys. I'll see you all again on Sabbath morning at 9 o'clock. Laila Tov.
Laila
Thank
Tov.
you. Goodbye. Laila Tov.
Laila Tov.
Laila Tov.
Lekker slaap
Laila
allemaal.
Al die beste vir die auction. Papa julle.
Baie dankie Magda, lekker slaap julle.
Lekker slaap.
Slaap. Lekker slaap.
Dankie. Bye. Hallo. Het ek hom vir jou geleen?
Hy's vir my.
Ag, dankie tog. Daar's my boek. Ek kon nie onthou vir wie ek daai boek geleen het. Magda, dis fyn. Ek het notas gemaak vir daai boek wat ek nodig het, man.
I anointed you with oil. I adored you, my beautiful bride. Shall you be separated unto me? Shall you give yourself away? You've been invited.